Hi, I'm DKWILL. This is DKWILL Talk About It. And I'm going to cover two articles. One, the XRP price that could retire holders with $1,000 to $2,000 in XRP. Now, of course, how many XRP you have for $1,000 or $2,000 will depend on when you got involved with XRP. But then expert says, I don't know who the expert is, we'll find out together, that investors who have amassed 10,000 XRP will attain financial freedom. Sounds pretty certain about it. That's from a December 13th article, and we're going to talk about both of them.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. We'll cover these articles by Mark Brennan. Mark Brennan actually wrote both of these articles, one back in December of 2025, and this one here today, February 21st, 2026. You'll probably see this video tomorrow on the 22nd, but nevertheless, it starts out with if a crypto investor committed $1,000 to $2,000 in XRP, could such an individual attain financial freedom considering XRP's growth potential? Now, as far as the history of XRP's growth potential, it is one of the most successful crypto assets in the market today, having increased by more than 24,000% since its launch. And with this growth, early investors have already made millions out of early investments. So, how does the asset markup today? Can there still be such phenomenal gains as 24,079%? Well, what do you think? It says XRP has already made early investors millionaires. It remains unclear if late entrants could see similar returns. Okay, I'm going to pause there already. No, it's not. It is clear. XRP is not going to stay whatever the price of it is right now. And there's today's price right there, $1.42. It says that retirement targets vary widely, with the US often requiring around 1.5 million, the UK about 1.3 million, Canada up to 1.5 Canadian dollars, and India roughly 360,000 to $600,000. Okay, now that makes me feel extremely poor because I am retired and I don't have $1.5 million, but interestingly enough, life is good. So I don't know why they say that, because $1.5 million earning just 5% interest is like $75,000 a year. And now tack on that any type of retirements that you've earned, and tack onto that your Social Security benefits. And that's a pretty nice income. And if you like the content I'm providing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and then come back for more DK Will Talk About It. So I think that's who there's talking to, because a lot of people don't make even $75,000 a year, at least not individually, perhaps as dinks, dual income. It's actually dual income, no kids, but now it's dual income. They've made it whether you have kids or not. It takes dual incomes to really get by. But it says $1,000 investment today buys 704 XRP tokens at the current prices, while 2,000 will buy, of course, double that, 1,408. If it reached $100, that would be worth $70,000, 70,422. At 500, it would go to $352,000. At 1,000 per XRP, it would grow to $704,000, while a $2,000 investment would push it to 1.4 million. And now we're getting in the neighborhood of what they say it takes to retire. So just by reading the key points, we can see that this article kind of leans towards no. It kind of leans towards no, you're not going to be able to retire off of $1,000 or $2,000 unless you're, say, 35 years old and you got enough time in your future to let XRP attain its true value. Here's the interesting part. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think that this all is an effort to depress the instant gratification that most people have today, the lottery ticket mentality that most people have today, and the thought of investing in something and then waiting 5, 7, 10 years for it to come to fruition is just not in the makeup of many people. And so these types of articles actually discourage you from thinking that it's possible for you to retire by buying and holding $1,000 to $2,000 worth of XRP. Well, that takes us to our next article, where an expert says that investors who have amassed 10,000 XRP will attain financial freedom. Now, 10,000 at today's prices, according to the $1.42, would be $14,200 to do that. And the expert apparently is Eduardo Farina, a popular XRP community figure and founder of Alpha Lions Academy. He's the market expert who suggests that investors who have accumulated up to 10,000 XRP tokens may not understand how free they'll be. What I can say is that more than 4 years ago, probably 5 or 6, I was telling members of a conference call that I have that we would shoot for 10,000 XRP. It could have been further back than that, actually, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And then after 10,000, we started thinking, well, let's try to get more and let's try to get more, because back then 10,000 seemed like a good thing to go to. But at the time also, 10,000 XRP only cost you about $2,700. So that being said, yes, that was a good time to do it. Here's the thing about it. It's not too late for you to do it if you've come in late. That's the thing about it. Reno goes on to say it's hard to understand how free you'll be. His commentary stems from his confidence in XRP's long term outlook, as he persistently suggested that XRP remains undervalued at its current price levels. The pundit expects XRP to reach greater heights, making these 10,000 tokens worth enough to make holders financially free. You know, I've always wondered how these people become so famous, and I sometimes wonder if, much like that Queen lady that I talked about in a recent video, I wonder if they're made popular on purpose. Remember the lawyer Matt, I think Matt Hogan. Then there's another Matt came on who was an investment advisor. But then there was the Bluetooth dude, the cool guy. Everybody has their moment in the sun, and I think it's designed to build confidence in what they say. But then you got to keep an eye on what they say afterwards, because even that reporter from Fox, Gasparino, he came out first like he was a proponent of the XRP community, and then he turncoat on everyone and went on the other side. And so you got to be careful in these communities. And I can assure you that I am not part of any of those narratives or efforts or agendas. My effort and agenda is as pure as can be. Nobody pays me to do what I do. And I do it because I actually believe what I'm telling you. And so I also believed about the 10,000 XRP that I was talking to my members in my call about. But it says, interesting, the data from the rich list indicates that only a few investors hold up to 10,000 tokens. So it just shows how at this community with DK will talk about it, we were ahead of the curve. Because now it's far more difficult to get 10,000 tokens with $14,000. But if you were shooting for spending $2,700 to $3,000, we'll say, maybe you did it over the span of a few weeks or a few months or even a half a year, but you still did it. And so we are ahead of the curve here. He says specifically in this rich list, there's only 182,951 wallets that hold between 10,000 and 25,000 XRP tokens. So that lets you know just in what of an elite crowd you are in if you hold 10,000 plus. But don't be discouraged if you only hold 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. 600,000 people from 1,000 to 5,000 tokens. There are over 8.5 billion people on Earth. That's not even a million people. And a billion is 1,000 million. So that's 600 out of 8,000 million. 600,000 out of 8,000 millions. So don't feel bad about it if you don't have 10,000 or more tokens. Accumulate as you can while you can. But here's the thing about it, folks. It says here, despite the uncertainty, market analysts remain bullish, with eGrat Crypto repeatedly targeting the $27 mark. And he has been targeting that $27 mark for a long time, along with CoinsKid, who targeted that $27 mark, and others who targeted that $27 mark. I'm not going to give you a mark because I'm not necessarily a technical analyst. Some of these are, and some of these are opinionated. I am insightful. That's the best I can tell you. But here's what else I can tell you. If you have amassed 10,000 XRP, it is extremely likely that you will attain financial freedom. It's just a matter of how patient you are. And quite honestly, if you see XRP drop to under $1, like I said before in previous videos, that might be a good time to choke out some more money and get some more, not to feel like you're about to lose all your money. You will not lose your money with XRP. Now, I am not a financial advisor, but I believe what I'm telling you. You will not lose your money with XRP unless you fall prey to what I always say, that nobody makes any money and nobody loses any money until somebody sells something. So gorilla grip your XRP. And if you can catch another vine and add some more to your bag, add it. Because the time will come when the game playing will cease. And even the true experts, the financial analysts, and those who work for the great financial firms are saying that they need to get rid of retail investor sentiment. They need us out of the way. And they're playing retail investors with ETFs, and that's just another hook. You never even own it. So here's the thing to do. Own it. Make them shake it out of your hands at a price that you want for your XRP. And then take that price and be happy that you did it. You won't go wrong. But if you have the lottery ticket mentality, this article and the other article that we read isn't talking about you, because this article is not talking about lottery ticket players. It's not talking about gamblers. It's talking about investors. And when you invest your money, you invest to win. And that's why you sell when you're a winner. Now, there are times when you need to cut your losses, and things can happen that can turn an investment around. But that's the reason you do your due diligence before you invest in it. And when the time comes when you actually invest in it, you have to believe it. And then you have to stick to it. So those who have amassed 10,000 XRP will very likely attain financial freedom. When? Who's to say? But here's what I will say. I got a new back wall, and that back wall is 2030. Now, do I think it will take until 2030? No, I don't. And I can tell you that this back wall is also based on all the evidence that I've accumulated over the years, just like the back wall of 2025. And sure enough, last year, XRP took another step up. It's going to take another step up. In fact, it may just take a leap up after they have destroyed retail investor sentiment. Gorilla grip your XRP. And then make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. If you've made it this far, I love you to death. Make sure you hit notifications for DKWILL Talk About It. And I've talked about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.